were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us?
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to share with you guys 5 things you can do in Bohol, Philippines. So if you backtrack a few videos ago, I made a travel recap of my time in the Philippines, and I did a lot of different things, and most of it was in Bohol because I do have family there. So I decided to share with you guys all the different things you can do there. If you guys are interested in going there, Bohol is such a wonderful place to go to. I highly recommend it because it's so lively, so many beautiful places to visit, and so many different things to do. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you would want to do is visit all the beautiful beaches in Bohol. Seriously, because it is an island, there's so many different places to go for beaches, and a lot of the beaches there have different vibes, so it definitely is up to your preference. So the 3 beaches that I went to was Alona Beach, Dumaluan, and Anda Beach, and all of them are in different places, some farther than others, and also different vibes as well. So if you're looking for a very lively place where you can visit shops, bars, restaurants, and all that kind of stuff, I highly recommend going to Alona Beach. And Alona Beach is situated in Panglao, and Alona Beach is mainly where all the, I guess you'd say, the strips of the restaurants, bars, and all that stuff. And it is also a line of there's also a line of resorts as well. So if you're looking for that kind of jazz, I would recommend going to Alona Beach. If you're looking for something that's not super touristy, I would recommend Dumaluan. So that one has more locals versus tourists, whereas Alona, it's a lot more touristy compared to Dumaluan. And again, like, the beaches across the board, they're all beautiful, but if you're looking in terms of atmosphere, something that's less touristy, a little bit quieter, but not too quiet, Dumaluan is also a good place. There are a few tourists, but it isn't so busy compared to Alona. There isn't a strip of restaurants or bars or anything like that. I think there's a few resorts there, but it isn't as popular or as crazy as Alona Beach. Now, if you're looking to go somewhere that's super deserted, no one there, like barely anyone there, somewhere quiet, I would recommend Anda Beach. And now this beach is really hard to get to. It's super far from the city center. I think the car ride was about 3 hours from Tagbilaran City. Like, this place was super quiet, no one there. So if you're looking for a very peaceful relaxation kind of thing, I would recommend going there. But it is, like I said, hard to get there, so you would need a car to transport over there. So the second thing to do is visit the Hanging Bridge. Now this is super sketchy, but it's safe, totally safe. However, if you're the type of person who's afraid of suspension bridges, I would not recommend going here, especially because it's not your typical steel constructed bridge. It's made out of bamboo. However, bamboo is very strong. It's a pretty short bridge, like it takes a few seconds to get from one side to the other. And also too, I would recommend holding your electronics very tightly, because once you drop it, it's gone. And you've got guides there to help you out if you need be. And then they also take photos too. Whatever side of the bridge you're on, there's a photographer on the other side, and they'll take your photo, and then they'll print the photo at the souvenir gift shop, and you have the option to buy it as well. So the third thing to do is visit the Chocolate Hills. Now there are at least, I think, 1,200 hills and counting. I don't think they've finished the count yet, but there's at least that many. There's so many. It just spreads across, I think, at least 50 square kilometers, and all you can see is just hills and hills and hills. And so the reason why they're called Chocolate Hills is because usually they are green, but once it's dry season they turn brown and then they look like chocolate Hershey Kisses, which is why they were named Chocolate Hills. By the Chocolate Hills, there's also an adventure park called CHAP, which stands for Chocolate Hills Adventure Park, and there's so many different things you can do. There is a bicycle ziplining, which was the activity that I did, and that was super fun. You literally you're on a wire, like a zip line, and you have to bike from one side to the other. And while you're biking, you can just see the chocolate hills spread across 50 kilometers. It was so beautiful. Again, kind of sketchy because you're biking across the wire. Like, you have to move on your own. So if you want to get to the other side and back, you have to cycle to get to the other side. So again, if you're afraid of heights, I wouldn't recommend that, but there are other activities in the adventure park. I believe there's like an obstacle course, rock climbing, treetop climbing, so many different things. So the fourth thing you should do is go island hopping. This is by far my favorite activity to do in Bohol because the Philippines itself has so many islands. Bohol also has many different islands as well, and there's different small islands you can visit too. So I was lucky enough to have family who own a boat, so we were able to do whatever tours we wanted to do and see whatever island, but there are popular islands you can visit such as Balikasag and Isola de Francisco, and those are the two islands that I visited, and they're well known with tourists. So you can join a boat tour. I think many of the boat tours actually come from Cebu, and then you can go visit Balikasag. And when you're there, you can do fish feeding and scuba diving, snorkeling, and all that fun stuff. And that's exactly what I did when I went to Balikasag, and it was just so beautiful. And then you can go scuba diving as well, and you have people to help you out. So if you have never scuba dived before, you'll definitely have that help. Like that was my first time scuba diving, but the guys, they were really helpful, and they taught you what to do in case the water goes in your goggles and stuff like that. But yeah, so definitely recommend that island. And then Isola de Francisco is more of a conservative island because it has a chapel on there. So I think it is an island dedicated to a saint or a martyr or something like that. So it's a little bit more conservative, but again, like the sand and the water is super beautiful on this island. Like it looks literally, it's just like paradise, and it's very small. Like you can literally like walk around the entire island in minutes. So yeah, it's a definitely small little island, but very nice to check out. And I'm sure there are other islands you can go on a boat tour with, but those were the two that I visited while I was doing my island hopping. So the fifth and last thing you should do is go on a floating restaurant. Now, there used to be two different floating restaurants. I think one had turned into a paddleboarding tour, but pretty much a floating restaurant is literally what it sounds like. It's a restaurant that's floating, so it's a boat where you can eat and listen to music, and it takes you on a river and takes you to some destination. So the one I went to was on Rio Verde, and I had food there, and there was music playing, and it just takes you through this river, and it takes you to, and at the end of it, it took us to like some tribe attraction. I can't remember what the tribe was called. I think it was like Ati tribe or something like that. But yeah, so Rio Verde was really fun. The food was good. Music was the music was local. They obviously sang a few American songs, but they also do sing some Filipino songs, so you might not understand the lyrics, but it was just really nice to see all the plantation, and like the river was super blue, and it was just a very beautiful sight to see. And it was kind of cool to see the tribe there at the end of it and kind of see, you know, doing their thing. But yeah, it was a really great attraction. So I highly recommend it if you are thinking of doing some sort of activity like that. Those are the main activities that I did in Bohol, and I definitely would recommend these activities for you guys to try out if you are ever planning to visit Bohol. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave one down below, and I'd be happy to answer it. But yeah, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in a later one. Bye! Mwah.